Originally, I'm from South Africa. Had been to Thailand several times. The first time I actually came to Thailand was for a Muay Thai training camp down in Krabi, out of Emerald Gym. After coming here a few times, just love the country, love the people. Eventually, we came down 1 year and thought, man, it would be a really cool place to maybe work and expand and live and be able to travel from. A few months after that, we moved. Been loving it since. A little bit about myself. I actually started fighting myself about 19 years ago. Main reason I needed a bit of discipline, young and that. So I started into the journey. I went into Muay Thai. I worked quite hard with that. I eventually worked up into being able to represent my country. Went to the WTKA World Championships, fought there, Muay Thai, and I did K1. It's been a long time. It was like 18 years ago. And then from there though, I realized something was missing. That's where I started discovering more and more outside the gym on movements and stuff and training that is needed, that's gonna have a carryover. And that's where I started getting into strength and conditioning and, well, brought me to where I am today. So this beautiful space that we're in here, basically I am a CrossFit coach for them. So I take some of the CrossFit classes. I love CrossFit, that's my main thing as well. We do personal training, so with the fighters, with general population and that as well. So each athlete is quite unique. So training methods and that I like to use, the first thing that I like to do is to train in a way that is going to have a carryover into the sport. Okay, so it doesn't help if you're doing fighting and doing bodybuilding, it's not going to work. So you need to find movements and exercises that's going to have a direct benefit for the fighters. Any exercise where there's what we call a core to extremity to generate power. But again, we need to still start at foundation. So if a fighter doesn't really have a good squat, for instance, it would be highly beneficial to actually fix that first, work on strengthening the foundational movements, and then you add on top of that. Okay, so the number one thing is you need to be training with purpose. Okay? A fighter needs to increase performance. So what we want to do is, while all movement is good, a fighter needs specific movements as well. And each fighter is pretty unique. While the general program is going to be pretty good, when you've got a fighter on their own and you can analyze how they're moving and what they really need, then it's tailored towards them. With Muay Thai, it's a little bit difficult to plan way ahead because you don't know when fights are going to come up. So like other sports as well, it's quite easy to have periodization as well into the program because you know when the sports season is, you know when the games are going to be. With Muay Thai, you don't know. Your fighter could be called up and say, hey man, you've got a fight now coming up in June. You've got 8 weeks to now prepare for your fight. So what we do is there's a specific method where we're doing training throughout the year to increase performance, but we're not going to have specific areas where we're focusing just on strength or just on speed. Let's say, for instance, you've got 8 weeks out from a fight. Because we've been doing it throughout the year, there's only specific things that we would start focusing on. So, give you an example is generally like 8 weeks out. If it's 8 weeks out, we carry on with the way we're doing. We start refining things. We still do strength and that, but we're not doing heavy loads and all this. About 4 weeks out, we start reducing movements that have risk. So we want to try and take away as much risk as possible. And generally then we're also going to start incorporating more speed, agility and coordination, these types of things. About 2 weeks out from the fight, we stop S&C. So no more S&C. We don't want to have risk as well on the fight or any other strain. And then we want them to concentrate purely on their Muay Thai training or their combat sport training, whatever they're doing. So assessing basically, if a fighter is getting better or stronger, and that is a bit harder than, if it's a weightlifter, for instance, because you'll see the numbers go up. With a fighter, there's a couple of ways that I like to work personally. The first thing is I ask the fighter on feeling. So if they're feeling good every day, they feel like they've got energy, they feel powerful, that's the first thing. If the training's depleting them, they've got no energy, it's not good. The second thing is their power. How much can they kick? How hard can they kick? Is their kick improving? Is the speed improving? Are they doing more damage? Can they punch longer and faster? Or is it getting less? That's a good way to see as well. So if your training is not increasing these things, there's something wrong with the training. Another thing is injuries. If the injury rate starts going down, well, then your training is working. We call that bulletproofing against injury. So a couple of things. The aesthetics, how you look, should be the last thing you worry about. It should be your performance and how you feel every day. Then you know your program's working. First of all, I actually used to do the sport myself. I don't do it anymore, though, if somebody had to say to me, hey man, come do some sparring for fun, I'll be down for that. I prefer to do CrossFit myself now, but I love to help fighters get a lot stronger because I know it feels good to be strong, to be powerful, to get into the ring and just be the best, not knowing or not thinking that there's something missing. It feels really good. I think the knowledge of having that as a background and how it feels as well, plus incorporating more than just the training. I work with my fighters from the mental aspect to injury prevention, bulletproofing against injury. I help them with sleep, I help them with nutrition, I help them with recovery protocols. It's everything together. Remember, training is just the stress. It's everything else that is going to take that stress and turn it into a strength. So that's my aspect. And obviously I'm using methodologies from like CrossFit and that as well that works really well, and I adapt it to each athlete. Okay, so honestly, these pro fighters and fighters don't actually need as much strength and conditioning training as most people think they do. Generally, a pro fighter, for instance, will only need about 2 to 3 properly balanced, structured sessions every week. They don't need more than that. You don't need to be doing S&C every day. This should be a complementary to whatever else you're doing in the gym, to be your pad work, your sparring. That's the number one. So that should be the focus. S&C is a complementary for that. All right, so yeah, we've actually been working for some time together. I think it's just over a year I've been working with Tawanchai now. How I met him. So a friend of his, is like a mutual friend that was training at the gym. He was sort of searching for a coach or searching for somebody that can help him get a lot more stronger or get a lot stronger and more powerful. And this person then said, hey man, maybe come introduce him to me. He came here, we did an initial session here at On Track, and we've been successfully working together ever since. So Tawanchai is actually one of the guys that's hungry for success. When he comes to the gym, he puts in 100% every single time. He's one of the guys that if you ask him to do something, once you've earned his trust, he's not going to ask you how high do you want me to jump. He's going to jump as high as he possibly can. So he puts in 100% effort every single time. Top this off, he's actually a really, really good guy, tons of fun to work with. And he puts in the effort. If he wants something, he works hard for it, and that makes him really talented. The good thing with most athletes, and athletes like Tawanchai, the will to succeed is already there. The base is there. They already want to be the best. So generally there's not much we have to do, except in the training, we want to make sure that they're pushing these limits as well. So we get to certain stages in our training, especially if you're doing things like metabolic conditioning, we call that like the dark space. It's where the body's like, I don't want to do this anymore. That's where you need to push deeper. A lot of these athletes, they just need that encouragement to go pushing deeper into this, we call this dark hole, this dark space. Most of these athletes are very willing to go there because they know the success that they're going to get from this. You'll see general population, as soon as things get hard, they stop. With an athlete, you just encourage them and they'll push past this a lot easier, and then obviously getting a lot more benefit versus, well, those that don't go into that space. Well, of course, it's really great to see athletes become more and more powerful. I think on my bucket list though would be Stamp. She looks like tons of fun to work with. Really, really cool athlete. I think it would be amazing to have sessions and, well, yeah, like I said, tons of fun. The second one would be Superlek. He's got quite a bit of experience, and I think for him, or working with him, it would be great to see how much more power we could actually get together. Yeah, difficult question in a sense, because I'm actually living my goal already. I'm getting to help amazing people every day become more powerful. I think, if you're working every day and you really, really enjoy what you're doing, it's so easy in the mornings to wake up and just feel motivated to go out and do something different. I think I get to help people, which is already fantastic. In terms of future though, and what more I'd like to do, I think continually expand on what I'm doing, continually learn. I love being part of On Track as well, so as I expand and grow and On Track grows, I hope to continually grow with them as well. And then, it would be great to continually work with more fighters all around Asia.